What's good, y'all? Blacksmith here, and today we're here to talk about Sonic 3. The third installment in the film series about everybody's favorite hedgehog is here with a big surprise this time around. Shadow the Hedgehog has made his grand appearance in a live-action film for the very first time, and everybody's here for it. But was his appearance enough to make this movie any good, and was it a good enough selling point for this movie? Let's talk about it. Sonic 3 picks up right where Sonic 2 left off after introducing Knuckles and Tails, completing Team Sonic. And with Sonic fully integrated into life on Earth, and with a stable relationship with the GUN agency, there comes a new threat in the form of, well, a hedgehog, Shadow. And with, of course, Eggman, and now Eggman number 2. But you'll have to see the movie to figure out what this dynamic is fully about and how that goes. Alright, now when it comes to the pros and cons for this movie, this one's going to be a little bit different. This movie does not have a list of pros and cons that are completely different from each other. For me, this movie's pros could also be this movie's cons and vice versa. The only outlier in this case would be the story itself, as it is different from the first movie and the second movie. And if I had to choose which side to put it on, I would put it on the side of a pro because it really was a decent story, and it was introducing a new character as well as its origin, so, I give it a pro on that. And you could also fit the action of this movie being an outlier as well, but that's to be expected coming from what we've seen from the first and second movie. So getting into the first pro-con, I would have to say the humor. Since the first movie, this series has been filled with kid-friendly, dry, sarcastic, tongue-in-cheek humor. And this is a great thing if you're into the humor of this series, but in my opinion, the humor didn't really get better or evolve a lot in this movie. It's still pretty much the same humor from the second movie, so if you liked the humor in that and you didn't mind it, then you won't mind it here. The second and probably biggest pro and con to this movie was Shadow the Hedgehog himself. This is a big pro because we finally get to see Shadow the Hedgehog in a live-action movie and also being voiced by John Wick himself, Keanu Reeves, who did a fantastic job. We got to see Shadow the Hedgehog do all the things that we've seen him do in the video games and animated shows, and it was every young kid's dream to see, and it looked fantastic. But the con to this is that Shadow was the biggest selling point for this movie. So in most of the moments where he was not in the scenes, this movie felt a little flat as everyone, especially me, was just waiting for another chance to see him in action again. Because as I said earlier, nothing about this movie was really any different from the second movie other than the story and the fact that Shadow was here. And I'm happy that Paramount chose to go with Shadow the Hedgehog as the main drawing point and antagonist for this movie, because I don't care how many Robotniks you put in here, Robotnik could not be the selling point for a third movie. We had already seen too much of Robotnik at this point, so I'm glad that Paramount chose to go with Shadow. However, I think that the times that he wasn't on the screen, everyone was just waiting for him to come back so we could see more of him. And just a side note that could be considered a straight up con, having two Robotniks in this movie didn't really help it because all the time that the second Robotnik took up could have been given to Shadow. But hey, if you're a fan of Robotnik and Jim Carrey, then you're going to enjoy him anyway. Overall, I really did enjoy this movie, even though, in my opinion, there wasn't too much of a difference between this movie and the second one. The Sonic movie series is a great example of how while consistency could be your strongest ally, it could also be your greatest enemy. And if you were to say that the second Sonic movie is better than this one, then hey, there's an argument that could be made there. It's just not the one I'm going to make today. Thanks for checking out my review. Let me know if you plan on seeing this movie. Let me know if you've already seen it and what you thought about it. Let me know what you thought about my review, and give this video a like and your boy a follow. I truly appreciate it. And until next time, peace.